I was invited on the board several years ago by James Marsden, and I have worked on some other boards previously, so I like the idea of having people raised out of poverty by teaching them how to come out of poverty. And so it's been 3 years since I was invited.
Well, first time I heard about it was from him, but you know, it's interesting because he told me about it and I was encouraged to look at it. So I actually went online. The site is great. I read almost everything there is on there. I don't know who wrote it, but props to them. I got to know a lot about what you do, where you're doing it, why you're doing it, who's involved. It was a really neat part. I served here as a missionary for the LDS Church, and so 4 months ago I got back. I ended those 2 years, and when I got this invite, I was immediately like, yeah, I want to be there. I want to be in this country that I served in, and my emphasis and my focus in being here for those 2 years wasn't necessarily humanitarian, but I did see a lot of opportunity for that. So it's been really neat to be here and see the temporal help that's available. And like he said, this isn't a handout type of thing. We're helping people become self-sufficient.
I've been on 2 previous trips, one to the Philippines, one to Peru, and I've noticed very closely, because of my involvement on the board, of how those organizations are working. And this Guatemala trip has made me feel really good about Guatemala and about mentors in general. They're doing a fine job here. When I see a farmer who has been able to expand his business, and he's in there with his whole family, he's not only raised himself out of poverty, but he's been able to raise his family out of poverty by having a loan, and he is tender in his feelings about it. It makes me tender in my feelings.
I never looked at, during my time here as a missionary, I never looked at these people as poor, because they're always so happy. They're content with whatever they're living with, you know. They can always smile. They may not be content, but you can always find a smile on them. But you know deep down that they could be living a lot better. They could be enjoying themselves. They wouldn't have to worry so much if they were just able to get out of poverty. And so being able to see this in mentors it's been awesome. It's been like he said, it's been neat to see just a whole family be blessed from just a simple loan. And they're doing the work. You know, we're not doing it for them. We're helping them. We're giving them the scaffolding, but they're really building themselves out of poverty.
Being on the board, we talk about where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. We have a vision, and we would like to see us move from the 30,000 clients that we had several years ago to the 57 that we have now, and I'd like to see us go to 1 million. And then the sky's the limit. And we only just scratch the surface, even if we do that. But there is much opportunity.
The principal ideas of mentors just making a huge change. You know, we're only affecting a few people right now in comparison to what could be done, and so there's a long way to be able to go. So we had dinner last night with a man here that he took a loan from mentors in its early stages when it was just here in Guatemala. And
early stages 8 years ago?
Yeah, about 8 years ago. And that helped him get out of his poverty. He was born into a family that was completely in poverty. And it wasn't solely the loan, but I'm sure it was just another stepping stone in helping him get out. Now he's completely comfortable. He's one of the most successful Guatemalans I've ever seen. He employs people. He's a supervisor over lots of employees now, and he's got an excellent family. He's able to offer a lot of opportunity to his kids because he's got assets now. You know, he's got something so his family's going to be able to increase. And his kids now, they're not born in poverty, that they can only go up from where they are.
I've often said that when you do good to somebody else, when you really are helping someone else to raise themselves, there's a little spiritual feedback that comes to you. And I've kidded several times saying it's the I'm okay, you're okay feeling. It's a wonderful feeling, and you should strive for it. It's the highest, charity is the highest subject that Christ talks about. And I think it's one of those things that everyone, if they're successful, should strive for to try and help somebody else. It's interesting because the average loan is just over $100 with mentors. And if we were to go in some developed countries with $100 and give it to them as a loan, it would only work for the weekend. They'd go out and spend it and be gone. In Guatemala or in Peru or in the Philippines, $100 goes a long way. You could buy a sewing machine or a table saw and move things a long ways toward coming out of poverty. So the dollar goes a lot further in an emerging country than it does in a developed country.